Welcome. I'm Natalie Madison, creator of Chef Equation. And right about now, you're probably asking yourself, what is Chef Equation? I'm here to tell you. Chef Equation is an amazing app that has essentially 7 apps rolled up into one. It is mobile optimized and can be used on a PC or a laptop. It's designed to be user friendly no matter what device you're trying to check in on. It is a multitude of things rolled up into one awesome tool for chefs and bakepreneurs like yourself. So what's inside Chef Equation? Well, one, it's your ingredient and supply tracker. So it tells you the last pricing of ingredients and supplies that you've purchased. And it keeps it all in a wonderful little catalog that we call the pantry. It's also your digital recipe card. So as you put in your recipes, it's going to capture that information for you in the cloud. And you can create multiple versions of a recipe if you want to test different things. It also does computations for you and figures out the cost per recipe, cost per container. Now, this app also contains your container fill weights. And I love this one because it means that you have consistent results every single time. So if you tell the system that the ideal amount to fill an 8-inch pan is 42 ounces, it's going to remind you 42 ounces of batter is needed to fill this pan. So when it comes baking time, it's going to do a lot of other things, but it's going to say, hey, 42 ounces, this pan right here. And you're going to be like, yeah, consistent results every time. In addition to this, Chef Equation is your instant order form. It's your instant quote sheet. You've started putting in the prices. We know your recipe. We know how much it takes to fill a container. So when you tell the order form how many containers or pan sizes you need, Chef Equation says, oh, here's your cost. So you can be like, oh, that's my cost. Here's what I want to retail it at. In addition to that, you'll be able to put in labor and overhead. So you can get a really accurate retail pricing for any good that you produce. You can also put in a profit margin for those of you who are ready to scale up your business. So Chef Equation's quote sheet is so much more than just a quote sheet. It's so much more than just pricing. It's so much more than just the cost of goods. I mean, you're not delivering a bag of groceries. There's a lot more to it. It incorporates all of that for you in an instant quote that you can create in seconds. In addition to the quote, it's also your prep sheet. So it produces this awesome little printout that tells you how many pans you've got to prep and what sizes. So on baking day, you can just pull those pans out, follow the list, check them off, grease them, flour them, ready to go. Works for other containers too. So you can do springform pans, or maybe it's bags for popcorn, or maybe it's containers for strawberries. So many options, so much flexibility. In addition to that, Chef Equation creates your shopping list for you. So if you tell Chef Equation that you're getting ready to take care of orders from this date to this date, Chef Equation will spit out a shopping list of all of the ingredients by weight and all of the supplies and materials that you need to complete that order. And then one of my favorite features, Chef Equation creates batter batches for you. What are batter batches? That is, if you do 20 orders this week, and within those orders, you've got red velvet and chocolate and white cakes all mixed in together. Chef Equation will take all of those different orders, and Chef Equation will put them into batter batches, telling you that you need this much total batter for red velvet this week, this much total batter for chocolate, this much for vanilla. And it will create a new recipe card for you that takes care of all of your needs for those recipes that week. So no, we're not talking about individual recipes. We're talking one batter batch for all of your orders that week. Now, once again, Chef Equation is mobilely optimized, so you can access it on your phone. So you can take that shopping list with you without having to print it out. Your bakers yourself, you can access those batter batches without having to print it out. You can access it from any device. Those are the 7 apps in one. It's actually probably more than that, but it keeps growing because I keep adding stuff to it. But that's what's inside Chef Equation. I'd like to hit one more time on my favorite portion of Chef Equation. I mean, The instant quotes are pretty awesome, but my favorite section is actually how to scale your recipes up or down to the last ounce. Have you ever found yourself baking off cupcakes, or, it can be anything, and you've taken your recipe and you've multiplied it by 3 because that seems to be the general rule, and then you find yourself swimming in extra cupcakes, and you look at the order, and you look at what you have left, and you question yourself, did you just lose all your profit? Are you about to eat all your profits? Are you about to eat all those cupcakes? Are you about to lose your profit? That's wasted ingredients, wasted time. On the flip side of that, there's nothing worse to me than having my baking completed and thinking I'm good to go and I've got my last orders out and I'm getting ready. It's a Thursday night and I'm finishing off the decorations and realizing I'm short 3 cupcakes. So now I have to go back to baking, go back to mixing, go back to all the stuff that I normally do on Monday or Tuesday. And now I'm having to do it again in the middle of my decorating time on Thursday. Chef Equation will help you scale your recipes down to the very last ounce. So you only have to do the process once. Forms of automation. Also, I talked about scaling recipes, but that other question about the quote sheets, you'll never have to ask the question, how much should I charge? Again, that question will be eliminated from your vocabulary because you will have a quote sheet that knows your prices. It knows how much your stuff costs. It knows how much the ingredients cost, the supplies cost. You're going to tell it how much you want to make per hour. You're going to tell it how much overhead you use up, like your utilities and your rent and those other expenses. And then you can put all of that in your order form and it says, okay, here are all of your costs. Here's what your retail has to be at least. And then there's that option at the top to put in a profit. So if you're growing your business, scaling your business, you have that little nest egg to continue growing your business. So that's what's inside Chef Equation, and that's why I'm so excited about it, and that's why I'm so glad you're here to let me share it with you. If you have a moment, I'd love to give you a grand tour. I'll see you in the next videos.